Hi there, you're highly welcome to English with Teacher Dixon. I want to talk about speech sounds. In English, we don't only have the written form, we have the oral form. And the oral form is what we use mostly in communication within the ambience of a household and outside. So it is important to understand the sounds of English language for you to be able to use English language properly and accurately. So what is the sounds of English language all about? The sounds of English language is divided into segmental and non-segmental. This is the two approach to English sounds. That is to say that just like an orange could be divided into different parts and the different segments of the orange can be gathered again, so are sounds viewed in different segments. And then we have a word as a result of a combination of different segments of sounds. So we have the segmental sounds of English as well as the non-segmental sounds. But my approach to the sounds of English language is the segmental sounds of English language. Another word that could be used for the segmental sounds of English language is the phonemes of English language. A phoneme is the smallest unit of sound in a language. So it is the combination of phonemes that gives us words, though we can have a phoneme representing a word sometimes. So the most important thing I would like you to understand in this series is that the word we speak in English language is as a result of a combination of certain phonemes. So the first objective of this lesson is that you understand the different sounds of English language. Again, the symbols that represent each of the sounds of English language, and also the letters of the alphabet that spell those sounds. When you have these three on your fingertips, it will be very easy for you to make use of the language, to be very fluent in speaking, and also do very well in reading. Again, I would like you to understand here that sound is what we hear, but letters are what we see. In other words, letters appeal to the sense of sight, but sound appeals to the sense of hearing. Again, for you to be able to read, what you are going to read is sound. You speak out and we hear your voice, and then we can tell that you're reading. But what you see while reading is nothing but letters. In other words, you need to understand the sounds represented by each letter. If you have any letter of the alphabet in a particular word, know the sound underneath. That will help you to pronounce that particular word appropriately. Having established this, I want to say that we have 44 sounds in English language. The 44 sounds are subdivided into 20 vowel sounds and 24 consonant sounds. Now, what is the difference between vowel sounds and consonant sounds? Vowel sounds are those sounds produced without the obstruction of the flow of air that is passing from the glottis through the mouth. In other words, when you pronounce a sound and you have a free flow of air, that is a vowel sound. For instance, when you say R, A, E, there is no obstruction in the flow of air. That means those three are vowel sounds. Unlike when you say sounds like b, Those ones are consonant sounds because of how they are pronounced. So, consonant sounds are those sounds produced with an obstruction or interruption of the flow of air passing from the glottis through the mouth. This is what you need to know about the segmental sounds of English language. Don't forget again that segmental sounds of English language are divided into two: vowel sounds and the consonant sounds. And that the consonant sounds are 24 in number while the vowels are 20 in number. Okay, so now let's talk about the vowel sounds of English language. Vowel sounds, as I defined earlier, refers to those sounds that are produced without any obstruction of the air flowing from the vocal cord through the mouth. And in English language, notwithstanding the fact that we have 5 vowel letters, we have 20 vowel sounds. And these 20 vowel sounds are subdivided into 2 categories: the monophthongs and the diphthongs. Monophthongs are 12 in number while diphthongs are 8 in number. The monophthongs are the single vowel sounds, whereas the diphthongs are the double vowel sounds. That's those sounds that are realized through a combination of 2 short sounds, making a single long sound. So those are diphthongs. So talking about the monophthongs of English language, they are otherwise known as pure vowel sounds. These sounds are arranged chronologically from number 1 to 12. So let me pronounce the sound while showing you the symbol from the first one to the last one, for you to be able to identify them in words. You need to know their pronunciations, know their symbols, as well as the letters of the alphabet that can represent each of them. So the monophthongs of English language arranged chronologically include E, A, A, O, U, Er. Those are the 12 monophthongs of English language, and they are subdivided into long vowel sounds and short vowel sounds. The relatively long ones are indicated by a colon immediately after the symbol, and we have 5 of them, and they are indicated by a colon immediately after the symbol. So it is pertinent to note these particular sounds. Again, we have the relatively short ones, and they are 7 in number, and those are the ones without a colon immediately after them. So this is how to identify monophthongs. So note the pronunciation of each of these monophthongs. Later on, I will talk about the letters of the alphabet representing each of them. In other words, where we can find them in words, so that while you're reading, while you are pronouncing words, you take cognizance of the letters that represent each of these sounds and articulate the sounds accordingly. Again, we have 8 diphthongs. The 8 diphthongs are subdivided into closing diphthongs and centering diphthongs. The closing diphthongs include the I, A, Oi, Ew, and Ow. Closing in the sense that when you say these sounds, your tongue moves from a particular location in the mouth towards the hard palate, very close to the roof of the mouth. I mention them again. the I, A, Oi, Ow, and L. We have the centering vowel sounds including the ear, and or. So these are the diphthongs of English language. Note how they are pronounced. Later on, we will talk about their spellings and where we can find them in words. Thank you for watching this video. Anticipate subsequent videos on the sounds of English language. I'm going to take you through everything you need to know